The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and freshly washed linens. The rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor was the only sound breaking the heavy silence. Sophia Carter lay in the stiff hospital bed, her body aching from the aftermath of the car crash. Bruises decorated her arms like ugly shadows, and her left leg was secured in a brace. Her ribs protested with every shallow breath, but none of that compared to the ache in her heart after what had just happened. She replayed the moment in her head over and over again, trying to make sense of it. The door to her hospital room had swung open, and she had expected to see her father, or maybe a concerned friend. Instead, it was her Evelyn Carter, her stepmother. Evelyn had walked in with a controlled smile, her sharp eyes filled with something unsettling. She sat beside Sophia's bed, crossing her legs as if she had all the time in the world. "I wanted to check in on you," Evelyn had said, her voice dripping with false concern. "It must be hard, recovering from something like this. But you're strong. You always land on your feet." Sophia had watched her carefully, sensing that this wasn't just a social visit. Evelyn never did anything without a reason. "Thank you," Sophia replied cautiously. Evelyn's lips twitched into a smirk. "I also wanted to talk to you about something important. It's about your mother's inheritance." Sophia's stomach tightened. A cold sensation crawled up her spine, warning her of what was coming next. "Don't worry, you don't have to stress about finances anymore," Evelyn continued, tapping her manicured nails against the armrest. "Ryan and I have taken care of everything." Sophia's fingers curled into the thin blanket covering her lap. "Ryan," she repeated, referring to Evelyn's son, her stepbrother. Evelyn smiled, pleased at Sophia's reaction. "Yes, dear. He needed the money more than you. Your father and I decided it was best for him to have access to it. After all, he's real family. You're just extra." The words hit Sophia harder than the crash itself. She felt the blood drain from her face, her body stiff with shock. "You stole my inheritance?" Her voice was low, but there was an edge of steel beneath it. "Such an ugly word," Evelyn sighed, waving a dismissive hand. "I prefer to think of it as reallocating resources to someone who actually needs them." Sophia felt like she had been punched in the gut. The money her mother had left her, the safety net that was supposed to secure her future, was gone. She had suspected Evelyn of being manipulative, but this? This was beyond anything she had imagined. How did you even get access to it?" Sophia asked, her mind racing. Evelyn leaned forward, lowering her voice. "Oh, darling, you make it sound so complicated. Your father trusts me completely, and let's just say some paperwork adjustments made the process smooth. The money is gone, Sophia. It belongs to Ryan now. And there's nothing you can do about it." Sophia stared at her, her hands trembling, but not from fear, from rage. She had spent years tolerating Evelyn's games, her constant efforts to push her aside, to treat her like an outsider in her own family. But this? This was war. And yet, instead of screaming or breaking down, Sophia did something unexpected. She smiled. "Thanks for letting me know," she said calmly. Evelyn's smug expression faltered, just for a second. She had expected an outburst, maybe tears. She wanted Sophia to feel powerless. Instead, Sophia looked disturbingly composed. Evelyn stood, adjusting her coat with an air of finality. "Well, I just thought you deserved to hear it from me first. It's best you move on, Sophia. You don't belong in this family anymore." With that, she turned on her heel and left the room, her heels clicking against the tile floor. Sophia exhaled slowly, her jaw clenched. Her body ached, but her mind was sharper than ever. Evelyn thought she had one. She had no idea what Sophia had planned. That night, as the hospital dimmed into a quiet lull, Sophia reached for her phone. She had been preparing for this moment for months, suspecting Evelyn's greed would eventually reach its peak. And she had made sure she had a backup plan. Scrolling through her emails, she found the one she had saved from Mr. Caldwell, her mother's lawyer. She had met with him weeks ago, after noticing inconsistencies in some financial reports linked to her inheritance. She had a gut feeling that Evelyn was meddling, but no concrete proof until now. She tapped out a message, her fingers steady. Subject, urgent. She finally did it. It's time. She pressed send and let her phone rest beside her. Evelyn thought she had outplayed her. She thought Sophia was weak, that she wouldn't fight back. That was her first mistake. And soon, she was going to realize just how wrong she was. The setup for revenge. The morning light filtered through the hospital curtains when Sophia's phone vibrated. It was an email from Mr. Caldwell. Understood. Everything is in place. I'll proceed immediately. A slow smirk crept onto Sophia's lips. Evelyn had no idea. Her mother had been smarter than anyone had given her credit for. She had set up a secondary clause in the trust fund, one that required Sophia's explicit consent for major withdrawals. The transactions Evelyn had made had been flagged, recorded, and reported. The signatures used to access the funds? Forged. And now, it was fraud. Sophia had let Evelyn believe she had taken everything. But in reality, all she had done was dig her own grave. Now, it was time to bury her. Sophia's father visited later that afternoon, his face lined with exhaustion. How are you feeling, sweetheart? Sophia studied him carefully. Did he know what Evelyn had done? Or had he been completely blindsided? I'm healing, she said simply. Her father shifted, guilt flickering in his eyes. Evelyn told me she spoke to you, about the inheritance. Ah. So he knew. And? Sophia asked, keeping her expression neutral. His throat bobbed. I didn't know she had already moved the money. She told me it was just a discussion, that she was looking out for the family. Sophia's chest tightened. Looking out for who, exactly? Her father looked away, shame clear on his face. She stole from me, Sophia continued, her voice quiet but firm. From Mom. And you let her do it. His hands balled into fists. I don't know how to fix this. Sophia tilted her head, watching him for a long moment. You don't have to fix it, she said finally. Because I already have. Her father's brow furrowed in confusion, but Sophia didn't explain further. Not yet. Because by the time the truth came out, Evelyn wouldn't have anything left to take. And that was only the beginning. Sophia sat in her hospital bed, her fingers gripping the edges of her blanket. The rage inside her burned brighter than the dull ache in her ribs. Evelyn had stolen her mother's inheritance and funneled it into Ryan's name. She had stood in this very room, smiling like she had won some great victory. But what she didn't know was that Sophia had seen this coming, she had prepared for it. Her mother had been a careful woman, a planner, someone who always thought 3 steps ahead. And thanks to her, Evelyn had just walked into a trap she couldn't escape. A soft knock at the door broke Sophia's thoughts. She turned her head and saw her father standing there, his eyes filled with something that looked like shame. He hesitated before stepping inside. Hey, sweetheart, he said softly, pulling a chair up to her bedside. Sophia watched him closely. Did he know? Was he part of this? I heard what happened, he continued, rubbing his hands together. Evelyn told me she spoke to you about the trust fund. Sophia's grip tightened around the blanket. Spoke to me, she echoed. Is that what she told you? Her father sighed, his shoulders slumping. She said she was just trying to help Ryan. That he needed the money more than you did. Sophia let out a hollow laugh. She stole from me. From Mom. And you let her do it. Her father flinched. I didn't know. Didn't you? Sophia cut him off, her voice sharper than she intended. Did you even look at the papers before she drained my account? Or did you just believe whatever she told you? He didn't answer. His silence was all the confirmation she needed. Sophia exhaled sharply, her anger simmering beneath the surface. You know what, Dad? It doesn't even matter anymore. Because I already have a plan. Her father frowned. Sophia, what are you talking about? She met his gaze, her expression unreadable. You'll find out soon enough. The truth unfolds. By the time Sophia was discharged from the hospital 3 days later, the wheels were already in motion. She didn't go straight home. Instead, she went to Mr. Caldwell's office. The lawyer greeted her with a firm handshake. Sophia, he said, motioning for her to take a seat. I've been expecting you. She wasted no time. Tell me everything. Mr. Caldwell nodded, pulling out a thick folder and placing it on the desk between them. He flipped it open, revealing a series of legal documents, bank statements, and flagged transactions. Your mother was smart, he said. She knew that one day, someone might try to take what was rightfully yours. That's why she put several safeguards in place. The trust fund wasn't as easily accessible as Evelyn believed. Sophia leaned in. What do you mean? Your stepmother forged paperwork to move the money, he explained. But what she didn't realize was that every unauthorized transaction triggered an automatic investigation. The bank flagged the withdrawals, and because she didn't have your explicit consent, she committed fraud. Sophia's lips curled into a slow, satisfied smirk. So it's already being investigated? Mr. Caldwell nodded. Yes. The bank is looking into the fraud, and I've already contacted the district attorney's office. If Evelyn thinks she's in the clear, she's in for a rude awakening. Sophia exhaled, feeling a weight lift off her chest. For the first time since Evelyn had walked into that hospital room, she felt like she was winning. But she wasn't done yet. I want to make sure she pays for every cent she stole, Sophia said firmly. Mr. Caldwell tapped the folder. We have enough to take this to court. But if she's smart, she'll try to settle before it gets that far. Sophia's eyes darkened. Then let's make her sweat. Cracks in the facade. Evelyn sat at the dining table, sipping her morning tea when the first call came. Mrs. Carter, the voice on the other end said. Speaking, Evelyn replied smoothly. This is regarding the flagged transactions from Sophia Carter's trust fund. There seems to be an issue, and we need to discuss this immediately. Evelyn's fingers tightened around her teacup. I don't understand. What kind of issue? There was a pause. Then, the voice on the phone said something that made her blood run cold. The bank has reported potential fraudulent activity. We need you to come in for questioning. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat. Fraud. No. This couldn't be happening. She forced a calm tone. Of course. I'll be there this afternoon. As she hung up the phone, her hands were trembling. She needed to fix this. Fast. The confrontation. Sophia didn't have to wait long for Evelyn to make her next move. That evening, her phone rang. She let it go to voicemail. Then, another call. And another. Finally, a text message popped up. Evelyn, Sophia, we need to talk. This is all a misunderstanding. Sophia smirked. She had been expecting this. She took her time before replying. Sophia, oh? You mean you didn't forge my signature and steal my money? Minutes passed before another message appeared. Evelyn, I just want to explain. Please, meet me tomorrow. Sophia hesitated. She had no intention of letting Evelyn manipulate her, but she wanted to see the panic in her eyes. So she agreed. The next day, they met at a quiet cafe. Evelyn was already there when Sophia arrived, her sunglasses perched on her face despite being indoors. Sophia, sweetheart, Evelyn started, her voice softer than usual. Sophia slid into the chair opposite her, arms crossed. Cut the act. What do you want? Evelyn sighed dramatically. This has all been a huge mistake. I only wanted what was best for the family. Ryan doesn't need my money, Sophia cut her off. And neither do you. Evelyn swallowed, her polished mask slipping slightly. I know you're upset, but surely we can find a way to fix this. Sophia's lips twitched. Oh, I already have a way to fix this. You're going to return every cent you stole. And if you don't? She leaned forward, lowering her voice. The fraud investigation will make sure you lose everything. Evelyn's face paled. Fraud? Sophia tilted her head. What did you think was going to happen when you forged legal documents? Evelyn's fingers trembled as she reached for her tea. You don't understand. I was just trying to protect Ryan. I don't care, Sophia interrupted. This isn't about Ryan. It's about you and the choices you made. And now, you have to live with the consequences. Evelyn's lips pressed together, her composure hanging by a thread. What do you want? Sophia smiled. Simple. I want everything back. And if you don't comply, then I'll let the law handle the rest. Evelyn's breath hitched. For the first time, she was the one who felt powerless. And Sophia? She was just getting started. Sophia walked out of the cafe, the crisp autumn air biting at her skin, but the cold satisfaction inside her kept her warm. Evelyn had looked panicked, cornered, realizing she was no longer in control. For years, she had manipulated, stolen, and lied her way through life, but now the walls were closing in. Still, Sophia knew Evelyn wouldn't give up that easily. People like her didn't just surrender. They schemed. They found new ways to twist the narrative, to claw their way out of the mess they created. And that's exactly why Sophia had to stay ahead of her. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through her messages. One name stood out, Ryan. Sophia hesitated. Despite everything, he was still her father's son. He had benefited from Evelyn's schemes, knowingly or not. But if anyone could tell her what Evelyn was planning next, it was him. After a moment's thought, she typed a message. Sophia, we need to talk. Now. Seconds later, the 3 dots appeared. Ryan, where? A brother's loyalty. An hour later, Sophia found herself sitting across from Ryan at a small, quiet diner on the edge of town. He looked tired. Not in the way someone looks after a long day, but the kind of exhaustion that settles in after years of believing a lie. Is she going to jail? He asked, skipping pleasantries. Sophia sipped her coffee before answering. Depends. If she pays me back, she might avoid it. But I don't think she can she? Ryan exhaled, rubbing his face. No. She spent most of it trying to secure investments, making risky deals, assuming she'd get away with it. Sophia wasn't surprised. Evelyn had always been greedy, thinking money was endless, especially when it belonged to someone else. She's desperate, Ryan continued. She thinks she can talk her way out of this. Maybe convince Dad to help her. Sophia frowned. Is he considering it? Ryan shook his head. No. He's done with her. That was the first good news Sophia had heard all day. Ryan hesitated before speaking again. Look, I know I was part of this. I didn't take the money myself, but I didn't stop her either. I didn't ask questions when she paid for my tuition, my car, he exhaled sharply. I was blind, Sophia. I get that now. She studied him, searching for deceit. But for once, Ryan looked sincere. You can't fix what's already broken, she said finally. But maybe you can help me finish this. Ryan sat up straighter. How? Sophia leaned forward. Evelyn is still trying to find a way out. I need you to find out exactly what she's planning next. Ryan hesitated. You want me to spy on my own mother? She stole from me, Sophia reminded him. She committed fraud, Ryan. You owe me this much. His jaw tightened, but after a moment, he nodded. Fine. I'll do it. Sophia smirked. Good. Then let's end this. Evelyn's next move. 3 days later, Ryan called. She's planning something, he said in a hushed voice. Sophia wasn't surprised. What is it? She met with a lawyer, Ryan said. She's trying to find a loophole in the case. She thinks if she can prove Dad knew about the money transfers, she can argue that they weren't fraudulent, that it was a family decision. Sophia clenched her jaw. So she's trying to drag Dad into this mess? Yeah. But there's more. Sophia stiffened. Go on. Ryan sighed. She's trying to sell off the last of her assets, jewelry, stocks, anything she can cash out fast. I think she's planning to leave town. Sophia's blood ran cold. She's running? Ryan hesitated. I think so. She mentioned something about moving to Canada. A fresh start where no one could touch her. Sophia let out a slow breath, gripping her phone tightly. Evelyn wasn't just trying to escape. She was trying to take what little she had left and disappear before she faced real consequences. Not on her watch. I need proof, Sophia said. Ryan hesitated. Proof of what? That she's trying to flee. If the authorities know she's a flight risk, they'll act fast. And if she does try to run? That's even more evidence against her. Ryan exhaled. I'll see what I can do. You'd better, Sophia warned. Because if she gets away, I'll make sure you go down with her. Ryan didn't argue. He just muttered, I'll call you soon, and hung up. Sophia leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her lips. Evelyn thought she could outrun the consequences. She was wrong. The arrest. The next morning, Ryan texted her a photo. It was a screenshot of an email Evelyn had sent to a real estate agent. Evelyn, I need to liquidate all remaining assets ASAP. Priority, fast transactions, no paper trails. That was all Sophia needed. She forwarded the screenshot to Mr. Caldwell, who immediately contacted the authorities. By noon, a warrant had been issued. And by 6 p.m., Evelyn was in handcuffs. Sophia didn't go to the courthouse. She didn't need to. The satisfaction of knowing Evelyn was behind bars was enough. She sat at her kitchen table, scrolling through news headlines. Local woman arrested for financial fraud, attempted flight from investigation leads to immediate charges. It was over. Evelyn had lost. And Sophia had won. The aftermath. Ryan called again that night. So, that's it, he asked. Sophia exhaled. That's it. Ryan was quiet for a moment. I know I was part of this. And I know you probably still hate me. Sophia didn't answer right away. I don't hate you, Ryan, she said finally. But I don't trust you either. Ryan sighed. I guess that's fair. You're going to have to prove yourself, she added. Not to me. To yourself. You spent years believing Evelyn's lies. Maybe it's time you figure out who you are without her. Ryan let out a dry chuckle. Yeah. Maybe. They hung up without saying goodbye. Sophia set her phone down and stared out the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. For the first time in years, she felt free. She had spent so long living under Evelyn's shadow, being pushed aside, overlooked, treated like an outsider in her own family. But now? She had reclaimed everything. Her inheritance. Her dignity. Her future. Evelyn was behind bars, her father had finally opened his eyes, and Ryan had a long road ahead. And Sophia? She was just getting started. Sophia's blood ran cold. She's running? Ryan hesitated. I think so. She mentioned something about moving to Canada. A fresh start where no one could touch her. Sophia let out a slow breath, gripping her phone tightly. Evelyn wasn't just trying to escape. She was trying to take what little she had left and disappear before she faced real consequences. Not on her watch. I need proof, Sophia said. Ryan hesitated. Proof of what? That she's trying to flee. If the authorities know she's a flight risk, they'll act fast. And if she does try to run? That's even more evidence against her. Ryan exhaled. I'll see what I can do. You'd better, Sophia warned. Because if she gets away, I'll make sure you go down with her. Ryan didn't argue. He just muttered, I'll call you soon, and hung up. Sophia leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her lips. Evelyn thought she could outrun the consequences. She was wrong. The arrest. The next morning, Ryan texted her a photo. It was a screenshot of an email Evelyn had sent to a real estate agent. Evelyn, I need to liquidate all remaining assets ASAP. Priority, fast transactions, no paper trails. That was all Sophia needed. She forwarded the screenshot to Mr. Caldwell, who immediately contacted the authorities. By noon, a warrant had been issued. And by 6 p.m., Evelyn was in handcuffs. Sophia didn't go to the courthouse. She didn't need to. The satisfaction of knowing Evelyn was behind bars was enough. She sat at her kitchen table, scrolling through news headlines. Local woman arrested for financial fraud, attempted flight from investigation leads to immediate charges. It was over. Evelyn had lost. And Sophia had won. The aftermath. Ryan called again that night. So, that's it, he asked. Sophia exhaled. That's it. Ryan was quiet for a moment. I know I was part of this. And I know you probably still hate me. Sophia didn't answer right away. I don't hate you, Ryan, she said finally. But I don't trust you either. Ryan sighed. I guess that's fair. You're going to have to prove yourself, she added. Not to me. To yourself. You spent years believing Evelyn's lies. Maybe it's time you figure out who you are without her. Ryan let out a dry chuckle. Yeah. Maybe. They hung up without saying goodbye. Sophia set her phone down and stared out the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. For the first time in years, she felt free. She had spent so long living under Evelyn's shadow, being pushed aside, overlooked, treated like an outsider in her own family. But now? She had reclaimed everything. Her inheritance. Her dignity. Her future. Evelyn was behind bars, her father had finally opened his eyes, and Ryan had a long road ahead. And Sophia? She was just getting started. Sophia's blood ran cold. She's running? Ryan hesitated. I think so. She mentioned something about moving to Canada. A fresh start where no one could touch her. Sophia let out a slow breath, gripping her phone tightly. Evelyn wasn't just trying to escape. She was trying to take what little she had left and disappear before she faced real consequences. Not on her watch. I need proof, Sophia said. Ryan hesitated. Proof of what? That she's trying to flee. If the authorities know she's a flight risk, they'll act fast. And if she does try to run? That's even more evidence against her. Ryan exhaled. I'll see what I can do. You'd better, Sophia warned. Because if she gets away, I'll make sure you go down with her. Ryan didn't argue. He just muttered, "I'll call you soon," and hung up. Sophia leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her lips. Evelyn thought she could outrun the consequences. She was wrong. The arrest. The next morning, Ryan texted her a photo. It was a screenshot of an email Evelyn had sent to a real estate agent. "Evelyn, I need to liquidate all remaining assets ASAP. Priority, fast transactions, no paper trails." That was all Sophia needed. She forwarded the screenshot to Mr. Caldwell, who immediately contacted the authorities. By noon, a warrant had been issued. And by 6 p.m., Evelyn was in handcuffs. Sophia didn't go to the courthouse. She didn't need to. The satisfaction of knowing Evelyn was behind bars was enough. She sat at her kitchen table, scrolling through news headlines. Local woman arrested for financial fraud, attempted flight from investigation leads to immediate charges. It was over. Evelyn had lost. And Sophia had won. The aftermath. Ryan called again that night. "So, that's it?" he asked. Sophia exhaled. "That's it." Ryan was quiet for a moment. "I know I was part of this. And I know you probably still hate me." Sophia didn't answer right away. "I don't hate you, Ryan," she said finally. "But I don't trust you either." Ryan sighed. "I guess that's fair." "You're going to have to prove yourself," she added. "Not to me. To yourself. You spent years believing Evelyn's lies. Maybe it's time you figure out who you are without her." Ryan let out a dry chuckle. "Yeah. Maybe." They hung up without saying goodbye. Sophia set her phone down and stared out the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. For the first time in years, she felt free. She had spent so long living under Evelyn's shadow, being pushed aside, overlooked, treated like an outsider in her own family. But now? She had reclaimed everything. Her inheritance. Her dignity. Her future. Evelyn was behind bars, her father had finally opened his eyes, and Ryan, well, Ryan had a long road ahead. And Sophia? She was just getting started. Sophia sat in her office, staring at the bank notification on her phone. The final restitution payment had been processed. Evelyn had officially paid back every cent she had stolen. For years, Evelyn had lived in luxury, spending money that wasn't hers, manipulating those around her, weaving a web of lies so thick that even Sophia's father had fallen for them. But now, that empire was gone. Evelyn had lost the house, her influence, and the financial security she had schemed so hard to maintain. And yet, Sophia felt no joy. Not because Evelyn didn't deserve this, she did. But because winning had never really been about the money. It had been about reclaiming her mother's legacy, proving that Evelyn couldn't rewrite history to erase her. Now, there was nothing left for Evelyn to steal. Sophia had taken back what was hers. And Evelyn was left with nothing. The final goodbye. A few days later, Sophia received an unexpected text from Ryan. "Ryan, she's leaving town. She wants to meet before she goes." Sophia stared at the message, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. A few months ago, she would have jumped at the chance to confront Evelyn one last time, to see the woman who had tried to destroy her finally admit defeat. But now? Now, she didn't know if she cared enough to respond. Still, curiosity got the best of her. "Sophia, where?" A few hours later, she found herself standing outside a rundown motel on the edge of town. The place reeked of desperation, peeling paint, flickering neon lights, a half-broken sign that read "Vacancy." Evelyn had fallen far. Sophia stepped into the dimly lit lobby, spotting Evelyn sitting at a table near the window. She looked smaller somehow. Gone was the polished, confident woman who had once controlled every aspect of their lives. Her hair was dull, her clothes simple, and the expensive jewelry she had once flaunted was nowhere to be seen. Sophia walked over and sat across from her without a word. Evelyn exhaled slowly, staring at the table instead of meeting Sophia's gaze. "You got what you wanted," Evelyn finally muttered. Sophia tilted her head. "Did I?" Evelyn's lips pressed together. "You destroyed my life." Sophia let out a short laugh. "I destroyed your life?" "Evelyn, you did that all on your own." A tense silence stretched between them. "I never meant to hurt you," Evelyn said eventually. Sophia scoffed. "Spare me the act." "You never cared about me, Evelyn. You only cared about what you could take." Evelyn's fingers curled against the table, but she didn't argue. "What do you want?" Sophia asked, crossing her arms. Evelyn hesitated, then finally looked her in the eye. "A fresh start." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "And you think I'm the person to give it to you?" Evelyn sighed. I don't want to leave things like this." Sophia studied her, searching for some sign of sincerity. But she had spent too many years watching Evelyn manipulate people, twisting truths and rewriting history to suit her. And now, even at rock bottom, she was still trying to play the victim. "You don't get to rewrite the past," Sophia said quietly. "You don't get to pretend you're sorry just because you lost." Evelyn swallowed hard. "I made mistakes." Sophia leaned back in her chair. "No, Evelyn. You made choices. And now you have to live with them." Evelyn's lips trembled slightly, but she said nothing. After a long pause, Sophia stood. "This is the last time we'll ever speak," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I'm done with you." Evelyn's breath hitched. And for the first time in her life, Sophia saw something she had never seen in Evelyn before. Fear. Then, without another word, she walked away. And this time, she never looked back. Rebuilding. A month passed. Sophia had expected to feel relief once Evelyn was out of her life, and in some ways, she did. But the scars ran deep. Years of manipulation, of feeling like an outsider in her own family, had left a weight on her shoulders she couldn't shake. One evening, she found herself at her father's house. It was different now, quieter, more peaceful. Without Evelyn there, it finally felt like home again. Her father stood on the porch, a cup of coffee in his hands, staring out at the sunset. "You okay?" he asked when she stepped beside him. Sophia shrugged. "I don't know." He nodded, as if he understood exactly what she meant. "I still can't believe I let it go on for so long," he admitted. "That I let her do this to you." Sophia turned to him, studying his expression. The regret was real. The pain in his voice was real. She had spent so many years resenting him for choosing Evelyn over her. But standing here now, she realized something. He had been just as much a victim as she had. And that didn't excuse everything, but it meant something. "I don't need an apology," Sophia said eventually. "I just need you to be better." Her father swallowed hard, nodding. "I will." And for the first time, she actually believed him. A new beginning. 3 months after Evelyn's downfall, Sophia stood in the office of her brand new business. A financial consulting firm. She had used her settlement money to start it, determined to help people, especially women, who had been victims of financial manipulation, just like she had. Because she wasn't the only one who had been tricked. She wasn't the only one who had been stolen from. And if she could help even one person take back control of their life, then everything she had been through had been worth it. Her assistant poked her head into the office. "You have a visitor," she said. Sophia frowned. "Who?" "Ryan." Sophia sighed, then nodded. "Send him in." Ryan walked in, looking more put together than she had seen him in months. He had cut his hair, dressed sharper, but most importantly, there was something different in his eyes. He no longer looked lost. I got a job, he said without preamble. Moved out of state, started over. Sophia raised an eyebrow. And you came all the way back just to tell me that? He hesitated. Then, no. I came back to say thank you. Sophia blinked. For what? For showing me the truth, he said simply. She studied him for a long moment, then finally nodded. Good, she said. Now don't screw it up. Ryan chuckled. I won't. For the first time, they weren't step-siblings caught in the middle of Evelyn's games. They were just two people trying to move forward. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. True freedom. That night, Sophia sat on her balcony, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. She had spent years fighting battles she never should have had to fight. But she had won. Not just in court. Not just against Evelyn. She had won her life back. Her future. Her peace. And for the first time in forever, she was truly free. The morning sun filtered through the windows of Sophia's new office, casting golden streaks across the polished wooden desk. The quiet hum of the city outside was a stark contrast to the storm that had dominated her life for years. She leaned back in her chair, exhaling slowly as she stared at the email on her screen. Final restitution payment processed. Case closed. Evelyn was officially done. Every cent stolen had been returned. Every lie had unraveled. Every consequence had landed exactly where it was supposed to, on the woman who had spent years manipulating, scheming, and stealing. Sophia had thought she would feel something profound when this moment came: relief, satisfaction, even victory. But all she felt was peace. For the first time in years, she was truly free. An unexpected visitor. Just as she closed her laptop, her assistant poked her head in. You have a visitor. Sophia frowned. Who? Her assistant hesitated. Evelyn. Sophia's stomach twisted, but not with fear. That feeling was long gone. Now, it was just curiosity. Evelyn had been avoiding her since the court's final ruling, too ashamed or too proud to face her. So what had changed? Send her in, Sophia said, folding her arms. A minute later, Evelyn stepped into the office, looking nothing like the woman who had once ruled over her family with an iron grip. Gone was the expensive jewelry, the designer clothes, the air of superiority. Instead, she wore a plain blouse and slacks, her hair pulled back into a simple ponytail. There were faint bags under her eyes, and for the first time, she looked tired. Not defeated. Not broken. Just tired. Sophia gestured to the chair across from her. Take a seat. Evelyn hesitated, then sat, smoothing her hands over her lap. They sat in silence for a long moment before Evelyn finally spoke. I suppose you're enjoying this, she muttered. Sophia tilted her head. Which part? Evelyn let out a short, humorless laugh. Seeing me like this. Sophia shrugged. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't imagined this moment before. But no, I don't take pleasure in this, Evelyn. I just want to know why you're here. Evelyn inhaled deeply, looking out the window as if gathering her thoughts. I thought I could fix it, she admitted. Somehow, I thought I could find a way out of this. But, there is no way out, is there? Sophia didn't answer. Because the truth was, there wasn't. Evelyn had played every card she had. Manipulation, deceit, legal loopholes, nothing had saved her. Now, she was out of options. And she knew it. I lost everything, Evelyn whispered, her voice laced with something Sophia had never heard from her before. Regret. Not the kind of regret that came from getting caught, but the kind that came from looking back and realizing there had been a different path all along. For a moment, Sophia didn't know what to say. She had spent years despising this woman, years dreaming of the day she would watch her crumble. But now that Evelyn was here, stripped of all the power she had once held, Sophia didn't feel the need to punish her any further. That part was over. "What do you want from me, Evelyn?" Sophia finally asked. Evelyn swallowed. I wanted to say I'm sorry." Sophia blinked. Of all the things she had expected Evelyn to say, that wasn't one of them. But she wasn't naive. "You're sorry?" Sophia repeated. Evelyn nodded. "I was wrong. About everything." Sophia exhaled. "That's a little late, don't you think?" Evelyn gave a weak smile. "Yeah. I know." Another silence stretched between them. Sophia studied her carefully, looking for any signs of deception. But this time, she saw none. Just a woman who had lost everything and was finally coming to terms with it. "You made your choices, Evelyn," Sophia said, her voice calm but firm. "And you have to live with them. I can't change that for you." Evelyn nodded slowly. Then, she reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. "What's this?" Sophia asked. Evelyn slid it across the desk. "A letter. From your mother." Sophia's breath hitched. "What?" "I found it while packing up," Evelyn said softly. "I thought about keeping it, but it's not mine to keep." Sophia hesitated before picking up the envelope. Her mother's handwriting was on the front, elegant and familiar. For a moment, she couldn't move. She just stared. Her mother had written her a letter. A final piece of her, preserved in words. Her fingers trembled as she traced over the ink. She glanced up at Evelyn, who was already standing. "I don't expect forgiveness," Evelyn said, her voice softer than Sophia had ever heard it. "But I needed you to know that I do regret what I did." Sophia swallowed. "I don't forgive you," she admitted. "But I hope you figure out how to fix yourself." Evelyn let out a shaky breath. "So do I." And then, without another word, she turned and walked out of the office. Sophia sat there for a long time, staring at the envelope in her hands. Then, finally, she opened it. The final words. "My dearest Sophia. If you're reading this, then I'm no longer with you. And while that breaks my heart, I want you to remember something: I never left you unprepared. I don't know what the future holds. But I do know this: you are stronger than you realize. Life may test you. People may try to take from you. But never forget who you are. You are not weak. You are not powerless. You are my daughter. And you are meant to build something greater than the pain others inflict upon you. No matter what happens, never let them take away the fire inside of you. I believe in you. Always. With all my love. Mom." Sophia closed her eyes, pressing the letter to her chest. Her mother had known. Even in death, she had left Sophia with the strength to face everything that had come her way. And now, she had one. Not because Evelyn had lost. But because she had taken back what was hers. Her life. Her future. Her peace. Sophia stood, walking to the window of her office, looking out at the city below. She had spent years fighting for what was hers. And now, she was ready for something new. Not revenge. Not resentment. Just freedom. And for the first time in her life, she had it.